Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Filoki, and in just one preseason game, the Seattle Seahawks have already proven that they are in mid-season form and prepared to disappoint everybody, and it is great because the Seattle Seahawks yesterday went over to Las Vegas and they played the Raiders in their new home stadium for the first game of the preseason, and they absolutely pissed the bed. Now, going into this game, we had a lot of guys that weren't going to be playing. Of course, Russell Wilson isn't playing. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, don't want to even risk them getting injured. Our two starting tight ends didn't play. Our entire starting offensive line didn't play. And on defense, we had a couple injuries. DJ Reed and Marquise Blair weren't going to play due to injury. Quandre Diggs and Bobby Wagner, of course, didn't play because they're veterans. We also had Jamal Adams, which isn't playing for obvious reasons. And then we had a couple defensive linemen that didn't play. So really, we had just about no starters playing this game, which was definitely to be expected. But on the flip side, the Raiders decided that coming out in that first quarter, they were going to play a decent amount of their starters on defense. They had a good amount of their starting defensive line from what I know, and honestly, they came out and just completely mollywopped us in the first half. Going into this game, I was very excited for three things: our offense, our corners, and our defensive line. And really, everything but the defensive line was a complete and utter disappointment this game. In the first half especially, offensively, we did not look good whatsoever. We had a play where Stone Forsythe completely let a wide open blitzer come off the edge on the blind side, and just Geno Smith got absolutely killed. Thank God Russell Wilson wasn't in, because that was the first offensive drive. Geno Smith did not have a good time. He got absolutely blasted. It was like that one scene from The Longest Yard. We all know that scene. I mean, it was not looking good for Geno Smith. I think he actually got a concussion on that play, so real happy Russell Wilson didn't come in and play a single drive, because that would have been bad if he was there. But overall, offensively in the first half, we were just absolute garbage. We didn't do anything. I believe we ran the ball 2 whole times for a total of 0 yards in the first half. We threw every single play basically, and it wasn't going very well. Not when Geno Smith was in. And then Alex McGough, I believe that's how you say, he came in and he actually did pretty decent. He had a couple nice passes. He had a couple nice running plays, you know, escaping the pocket type of thing. He was doing pretty good, I'm not going to lie. But really, that first half, our offensive line wasn't doing great. No one was really doing good on offense. The defense was not playing spectacular in the slightest. And we ended up going into halftime being down 13-0 with the time of possession being 24 minutes to 6 minutes. And we had given up almost 300 yards while only gaining 44 yards. It was not looking good going into halftime. But even though the first half was horrible for the Seahawks, there were a couple good things that came out of it. One, we had Ugo Amadi, who was playing in the slot. He was coming off the edge. He was playing some really good run defense. He had a couple blitzes where he actually got some good pressure. I mean, he was just playing really well. Ugo Amadi was probably the only bright spot out of our corners today. We also had Alton Robinson. He was starting to heat up a little bit later on in that first half, but he did have a really nice play which led to the Ryan Neal interception. He got some pressure, and I also think that he tipped the ball, which let Ryan Neal intercept it. So that was a really good play from Alton Robinson. He ended up being spectacular in the second half, but really first half he showed a couple glimpses. Nothing else really happened. Our offense didn't look too great. I think Freddie Swain had a couple good plays, but other than that, I mean, just overall we were not good in the first half. And now moving on to the second half, we actually did pretty solid in the second half. Even though we didn't do great by any means, we did a lot better than the first half, and there were actually some decent positives from the second half that you could take away and build on going into the next game and going into the regular season. The main thing that I noticed going into the second half was just the fact that our offense completely changed when we actually were able to run the ball. When Alex Collins got his 2 whole handoffs for 0 whole yards, we weren't really doing anything on offense. We were trying to pass every single play. Then we got into running the ball a little bit more, and DeeJay Dallas came in and he really wanted to just go forward, and he was doing that. I don't think he had a single rush that was under 4 yards. He just kept on getting those quick 4-yard runs. After running 2 straight times with DeeJay Dallas and getting some success on 3rd down, they decided to do a read option. Alex kept the ball and he got a nice, I think, 7-yard gain, maybe 9-yard gain. It was a really nice play. I mean, we just came out in the second half and decided we actually wanted to play some offense. And in our only score of the game, we had it on 4th down, and thank God we went for it, because it's the preseason. Why not go for all the short 4th down conversions? And we passed a dump off to DeeJay Dallas. He broke a tackle and ended up taking it 43 yards for a touchdown. Just a good play by DeeJay DeeJay Dallas. He came out and he actually looked like he wanted to play. He looked like he's trying to earn his spot still. He was the one that I think was responsible for kind of getting our offense going in the second half because, you know, he came in, he ran hard, he had some good plays, and that allowed us to kind of diversify what we were playing. You know, our run game actually started to work. We could make some more passing plays and get some better yardage and actually show something. And defensively in the second half, we came out and looked pretty good as well. Alton Robinson really just came to play today. He was getting some really good pressure. He was making good run defense plays. He was just kind of all over the place. He was doing very, very well. Darrell Taylor also came out and he was getting some good pressure. I mean, overall, our young guys on the defensive line were playing very, very well. We also had Cody Barton come in. I believe he had 2 sacks. One of his sacks came from Rasheem Green getting triple teamed, and it just let Cody Barton walk right into the quarterback and sack him. I mean, our defensive line came out and decided they wanted to play really well in the second half. We had a decent couple plays from our corners, but none of like the, you know, kind of starting potential corners like Trey Brown or anything like that. We had Heslop, 38. I'm not sure what his first name is. He was really coming in. He had a couple decent pass breakups, but other than that, there really wasn't too much going for the team in the second half. We had a couple decent offensive plays, didn't really get any great drives going other than that first drive. And on defense, our defensive line was looking good. Our pass rush was looking good, but other than that, no one really got it going. There's a lot to build on from this game, and I don't think this game really matters win or lose. It was the first preseason game, and I mean, we're just going to get better from here. So I don't think it's too much to worry about this game. It was definitely disappointing, especially seeing Trey Flowers already in midseason form as well. Being Trey Flowers, letting up those big passes. Hopefully Trey Flowers gets all that figured out, but I mean, it's the first preseason game. You can't say too much about this. If this was like the first game of the regular season and we got absolutely stomped by the Raiders, then yeah, I'd have some worries. But in the first preseason game, the Raiders seemed to come out and actually try and want to win. The Seahawks came out and looked like they were trying to see what guys could do. We didn't really seem like we were going out there trying to make the comeback late in the fourth quarter. We were just letting the guys play. But to go into some of the positives of the game, of course, Alton Robinson played very well. Darrell Taylor had some real nice pressure plays. He was getting to the quarterback a little bit. Cody Barton had some nice tackles. He had a couple sacks. He played well overall. Alex McGough, I can't say his name still. He looked good when he was actually playing. Geno Smith kind of was a letdown when he was actually playing. Of course, he took that huge hit and he tried to make a couple plays later on, but overall, just when Geno Smith was in, it was not going well for the offense. DeeJay Dallas came in. He was probably our best offensive player of the day. He came in and actually wanted to go forward. He wanted to actually run hard and make plays. He really built up what the offense was in the second half, which wasn't great, but it was better than what it was in the first half. And some of the bad things from the game, I mean, defense as a whole was not a great thing. Other than the defensive line looking pretty decent, our defense overall was not doing good. We kept on letting up those really long drives that were going to end in field goals or touchdowns. It was something that we were doing last season, early on in the season, which was not good whatsoever for our team. You're allowing 15 to 16 play drives that are just eating up time of possession, getting your defense tired. The team ends up scoring, and then your defense comes off the field tired. Your offense has been off the field for like 15 minutes. How are they going to have any momentum going into that drive? I mean, just the long drives that we let up on defense were not looking good. We just were not putting enough pressure. It looked like we were playing those weak zones once again, and our corners were just staying like 5 yards off of their man, letting them catch the ball and then trying to tackle them after they got the first down. I mean, it was just pretty disappointing overall watching the defense because it didn't seem like we could really get a stop. I believe we had like 2 or 3 actual good defensive drives where we got some good stops, but we were just letting them walk all over us the entire game because Nathan Peterman, he should not be doing that, but he was. He looked like an absolute GOAT quarterback against the Seahawks defense. Continuing on with the defense, our corners were pretty disappointing today. I was really excited for Ahkello Witherspoon. I was really excited to see what Trey Brown could do. Trey Flowers said that he was trying to win that starting spot back, so I was hoping he would come out and prove himself. Trey Flowers looked like Trey Flowers. And I mean, Ahkello Witherspoon, he really didn't have any horrible plays, but he didn't really make any great plays either. And Trey Brown, he had a couple bad plays. He let up a couple passes. He had a couple broken coverages. And I mean, he just didn't play too great this first game. Maybe it was nerves. I have no idea. But going into the next few games, he's really going to have to pick it up. Our entire corner group is going to have to pick it up because that was probably the main weakness of our defense today was the secondary. Our corners were just letting their guys catch the ball 7-8 yards down the field, tackling them after they let up the first down already. I mean, it just was not looking great for our defense and especially our corners today. The offensive line was another place that wasn't spectacular. I wouldn't say they were horrible. First quarter, they were absolutely atrocious. Second quarter, not that great. Second half, they played all right. You know, they did a little bit better than they did in the first half. In the second half, Stone Forsythe didn't have a great day today. He let up a couple rushes. He let Geno Smith absolutely get killed, and it just overall wasn't a great day for Stone Forsythe, unfortunately for him. And another thing for the offense was our tight end play. It was very lackluster. We really didn't have many tight ends going into this game because, of course, Colby Parkinson, and then I can't remember the name of the second guy, but basically the two guys that probably would have been the starters for this game and would have probably been able to do pretty well got injured before this, and they're going to be out for the entire preseason, probably a couple games of the regular season as well, so that's unfortunate. I mean, Woods Anderson came in and looked very bad. He had some bad drops. He had a couple big penalties. I mean, he just did not have a good day today. I would not be surprised if he got cut within this week. But overall, this was just, a pretty disappointing game. There's really not much more that you can say about it. The Seahawks came out. They didn't really play too hard. The Raiders came out. They obviously wanted to win. They were in their new stadium. They put out a couple starters on their defense. They were just playing a lot better. There are a couple really questionable plays by the Seahawks. I remember one vividly where Alton Robinson, for some ungodly reason, was in coverage against a wide receiver, and he almost scored a touchdown off of it, but he ended up catching it and being at like the 4-yard line. So, I mean, just some really dumb things were happening this game on the Seahawks side of the football. We just were not playing too well, and hopefully going into the next preseason game, we'll actually start doing a little bit better, but this game, not the best. We're losing to the Raiders, kind of sad. Even though it is a preseason game and it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, it's really just to see what our guys can do. Losing to the Raiders is never fun because they're the Raiders. But let me know down below in the comments what you thought about this game. Of course, it was a disappointment, but were there any good things that you can take away and any really, really bad things that you can take away? Let me know down below in the comments. Like I said, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.